It's Teaching with Primary Sources program. It is a Library of Congress educational outreach program. It's a national program. And we, at Southern Illinois University with Carbondale, received the program in 2002. Is that too far? Okay. We received the program in 2002. And we work with K through 12 teachers and educators, including librarians and the community. So we've also done a lot of library genealogy groups, that kind of involvement. And what we do is we support educators and students in utilizing the Library of Congress's digital collections that are online. And normally we're used to the libraries having to have a special password or subscription or to see the archives. But the Library of Congress website, which is right over here. It's kind of what it looks like. It's just loc.gov in your address bar. As long as you have an internet connection, you can access the 30 million digitized items that can be found at the Library of Congress. And that's all you need. So back in 2002, so this is our 10th or 11th year now that we've been running, they had 7 million. So that just shows how fast the collections are being digitized and put online. And when I mean collections, we're talking about repository full of personal narratives, photographs, maps, letters, presidential items. Before a certain time, a lot of the presidential papers and letters and such were in the Library of Congress. Now a lot of the newer presidents have their own libraries. All the other digital libraries in the world follow the same kind of suit as the Library of Congress, so you can access a lot of digital archives as long as you have the internet. So it's just, we live in an amazing time right now to be able to access this stuff. And they're also digitized in a way where we can download them, save them on disks, keep them in our libraries, and have our own libraries. So with the Teaching with Primary Sources program, we also look at what our needs are within the community. How can we get these kids connected and involved and excited about what we can do? Well, the Library of Congress also has a Veterans History Project on their site, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, where they have an ongoing project where they collect veteran stories from any war, which is fantastic. So now we can archive a story, and the library will keep it in their research realm. 5% will actually be shown online for anybody to access. The rest of the histories will be saved there for anybody to come and look at, whether it's genealogy research or whether it's a researcher who wants to look at different stories. And so we thought it would be a really nice compliment to have a project where we bring teachers to campus, we give them the equipment that they need, camera recorders, the training, also looking at how do we gain information from oral histories? How do we look at them for factual information, for empathy, in those kind of situations? So we have a summer institute, and that's how I've connected with Brad. Brad was one of the veterans this summer that the teachers, and we had about 7 teachers that worked with 3 different veterans. We had a World War II veteran this summer come on campus, and we had an Iraqi freedom conflict, that was Brad, and we had Vietnam. So that was really interesting for all of us teachers. We paired up and we collected their story, we did the reflection, we did everything that we would expect students to do with a source. Because it is really about connecting to what we know about that war and how does somebody's story add a different point of view. So I'm just going to show, we work with the Illinois Veterans Classroom Project. We tap into a lot of resources. That's just what we do. So we offer the Library of Congress resources, the strategies and how do we analyze them. And we also offer a repository of sources for them to research and study with their veteran, about their veteran. Then we paired up with the Illinois Veterans Classroom Project, which is this site. They are partnered with the Illinois State Board of Education to offer a state portal for us to have student products. So students will they'll edit the video and they put their reflection at the end. So that piece, the student pieces, are being housed through the Illinois State Board of Education, so that can live for schools and students and communities. The raw footage, where it's not edited, goes to the Library of Congress. So we do 2 things with that project. We archive it nationally, and now we're also archiving it with state resources. So that's why you have the Illinois Veterans Classroom Project. So if you know of a school or a community that wants to get involved, they've got a place to put these products. That's been a big contention for schools. We do all these great community videos and stories, and we don't have anywhere to put them so that they're preserved. Or they might just stay within a school. This is a way for states to be able to put it online and it'll be preserved. So it's kind of it's a very nice resource to have. The Veterans History Project has all the information on their site to archive their source. Give me a little bit of time. Just to show you, see if we can get a snippet going. And this is just a snippet of what some students had done in near Rockford at Harlan School District. They had a ceremony for their veterans. So these teachers that worked with me this summer are now collecting stories with their students in the classroom. So this is a result of students who worked in the Harlan School District, and then they had a nice dinner for their veterans afterwards, which was really nice to bring the families together. And this was one piece that they showed to the whole group. And I'm just going to show about 3 minutes of it. Oh, wait a minute. Sure it's high enough.
Stories of veterans who served in World War II.
More veterans die every year. The more they lose, the more history they lose.
In this class, instead of just reading from a history book, you're actually getting that first-hand experience with a primary source.
Essentially, we're capturing these guys' stories. We're taking the stories
Oh, I'm so sorry.
of the veterans and we're preserving them, and we're also providing them for the families so they can keep the tradition going and they know what happened. It's really important that we can record their stories now for future generations. Every 2-hour session or so with a veteran is basically a 2-hour lecture on World War II.
Not many people know the truth, the whole story about World War II.
In history, like in history class, you don't learn like you do in this class. This class, I learned so much about people's own stories and important jobs.
This class affected me personally because I learned more about it. Like I've learned new positions in the Army that I never even thought existed.
But I was just there because the engineers built the bridges, the infantry went over them, took all the half-tracks, all the people. So everybody was just involved going. So that's why we won, because we had better air power, better guns, better men, we had everything, you know.
In a history book, you don't learn it. You don't say it like, you don't see the man who did an amazing job protecting his platoon or anything. You just see, you know, it was someone writing it out.
We interviewed a guy that wasn't actually in combat, but he protected the troops by controlling the flights and stuff and protecting the air.
You learn a lot more in this class than in history class. You get to experience people's own lives and like what they did in the war. You get a feel for people's own experiences.
And you don't really realize like the price that people pay when they are fighting in these wars and how it emotionally, how it affects them.
What was it like?
Yes.
Scary. That's the word I'll use, scary. You know, you didn't know whether you were gonna make it or not. But you just did what you had to do, and that was it.
Have more of appreciation for our veterans other than just the ones that actually fought and for the risk they take fighting in the war.
I think most of the value that comes from this class is the feeling that you're taking part in something that's going to last a lot longer than you are.
Because I know that it's not for myself, it's not for my grade, but it's for somebody else, and for them to remember a family member, and for everybody to know what that family member went through in World War II.
I'm going to stop it right there, just because I want to show you the next video. He talks really low, so he's going to be even a little bit harder to hear, but it's a tearjerker. I will tell you, it's the most emotional type of community project we've ever done with teachers. We've worked with a lot of different themes, but this particular one really bridges the different generations that come into play, and the teachers really enjoy this project. Oh, here.
I think one thing, this is fine, all this.
Oh, here, well, now you're going to have to listen to him.
All the rest of, that's fine. But I think things to do that every person could serve without doing something that they really didn't want to do. Yeah, written dirty work over with guys that want to do that kind of work. That are committed to do it. But then still there's so many casualties and all that that you're going to have to run over somewhere. So they're going to have to go in and get extra people to come in. So they're going to have to probably go into it again. But if we get the educational stuff up enough and get enough brains behind this, maybe there will be a dividing line where we can kind of live together. You know, that's a possibility.
So the students actually created this, and they did the full videos with all their different veterans that semester. But it's amazing what they do when they have the equipment that's available to them and the resources and support. So it's been a really great program. That's just one example. And so with the Veterans History Project, they do the reflection piece, which we feel is really important in connecting and learning. And then we send the raw footage with any kind of documents and letters. They don't take artifacts, but they do take any kind of letters that were written back and forth, any kind of military papers, those kind of pieces. They do want the original, and you can send those off. And they'll be kept and archived in the Library of Congress for as long as the library will keep them. And so the name will come up. You can search. Anybody can participate. How to participate is right in here, and they do have a video companion. I'm just going to show about 3 minutes of it, but there is a fuller video where you can get an idea of how do I do this to capture a family member's story and be able to put it in the Library of Congress. Quite amazing to even just go through and read them.
The Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress American Folklife Center is the largest oral history archive in the nation. The Veterans History Project, which we sometimes refer to as VHP, was created by unanimous congressional mandate in 2000. It comprises the personal, first-hand accounts of American war veterans in the form of audio and videotaped interviews, original photographs, illustrations, letters, diaries, maps, and other documents. 5% of the collections are accessible online for viewing and research. I'm standing in the VHP Information Center in the library's James Madison building. If you find yourself in our nation's capital, we encourage you to stop by and visit us, Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. But more importantly, we urge you to help us collect and archive the stories of our nation's veterans, because we rely on volunteer interviewers to record stories and send them to the Library of Congress. Throughout this video, we'll hear from documentary filmmaker Ken Burns, who offers practical advice on how you can participate in the Veterans History Project. While we don't require his cinematic skills, we hope you'll find these tips helpful and easy to remember.
You don't have to be a professional interviewer to do an interview for the Veterans History Project. The project values all contributors, and they want you to know this is not a complicated process. With merely some time to listen, a good microphone, and a cassette recorder, you can make a veteran part of history.
This video will demonstrate how to record the first-hand recollections of American war veterans, according to the straightforward guidelines set by the Library of Congress. Adhering to the correct process will ensure VHP collections remain.
He's going to go into a little bit more and show the video aspect of it. We follow all the information that the library offers. In terms of their kit, everything's put together, all the consent forms and everything that you need. as well as interviewing questions, and the students also create their own. So even as a community project, it's a great guide that's all put together for you, and it's all right there. It says how to participate. It has the field kit downloaded. I brought about 10 because I don't have very many. So if there's anybody who don't feel comfortable going online and they just want to grab this one, this kind of gets you started in what's available in the kit. So there are 10 here. I'm just going to leave these in the front over here. And if you're interested for more information or you need support, even if you're doing this for yourself, for your family, or you want to get a school involved, we have a lot of supports that don't cost anything. I'm funded through a legislative grant through the Library of Congress. So we work in the areas surrounding 16 counties in Edwardsville. So I pretty much cover, I cover East Alton. So if you have schools in Wood River, we have teachers that work this summer that's in Wood River at the middle school. We do promote middle and high school, as the library suggests. And just general questions, we help everybody. And Vicki DeWitt is wonderful. If you've got a state story that you want archived and saved, that's what they do over there. So you've got a lot of support here. This is just information on the Teaching with Primary Sources program here. Because we do a lot of other things. This is just kind of one of our projects that tugs at our hearts, and we really enjoy it and feel that this is probably the most sustaining work that we do out of everything that we do within the program. So I want to thank you for letting me share these wonderful resources with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time.